Welcome to the Viva la Mami podcast. I am your host, Jessica Cuevas. I am a mother of two on a mission to help redefine the meaning of motherhood as a modern Latina mom. Motherhood can be a complex journey, interwoven in two identities that often make us feel ni de aquí ni de allá. Viva la Mami is committed to providing you with knowledge, tools, and support to navigate the challenges and triumphs of motherhood as Latina moms. On the show, we'll be discussing culturally relevant topics that will help inform and empower you in whichever season you are in on your motherhood journey. We'll be joined by Latina moms, experts and professionals who can offer advice, practical tips, relatable stories, and honest conversations. So bring your cafecito as I invite you to be a part of this space as we create comunidad about the exciting and challenging parts of being a mommy. Ahora, vámonos. Hola, hola, everyone. As I told you all, I am live tonight for the State of Motherhood Address. It almost sounds kind of presidential, but in reality, we are mommies who deserve the space to just tell what you're doing, how you're feeling. And for me, I feel like I should be talking more about my struggles and my sort of experiences and what I'm going through right now, just because I am representing a motherhood platform. And if you do follow a bunch of motherhood Instagram accounts or, influencers who are moms, you don't get to see the reality of things. And and I thought, you know what? If anything that you can get out from this platform is that you will be a part of a community that is raw and authentic. That was the whole premise of creating this platform, Viva la Mami, so that our stories are worth telling, our experiences are worth knowing, and that I am also a representation of your story and your experience and journey as a mama. And so yeah, like I said in my stories this morning, I have been struggling a lot. And this is kind of like a culmination of things. And I know that all of us go through seasons where we feel our best in motherhood. And there are times when we feel at our worst in motherhood. And I could say within the past couple of weeks, but definitely the past 2 weeks, I've been not myself. And this is a matter of mental health specifically. And I do want to admit this, as Latinos, we don't really talk about our mental health. We don't talk about, the realities of how we're feeling. And, I just think that it is so important to talk about how we're feeling and validating those feelings. And as moms, though, we do want to present ourselves as these perfect super mamas. And I think that is embedded in our culture, but also depending on the kind of personality and the kind of person that you are. And so I am the firstborn in my family. I am a daughter of immigrants. I am a first generation college student. So there were a lot of things that I had to navigate, but also I had to basically show up a front so that people know that I am strong and fully capable and that I am also just like that I don't need, I'm not a dependent person, that I am fully independent. And so, with all of those nuances of my identity as being the first of everything, it does lead to consequences, especially when you don't know how to ask for help or you don't know who to reach out to necessarily, because you always think that you're going to solve it on your own. And so for the past 2 weeks, I haven't been feeling like myself. Even though when you think about it, I mean, I have a loving husband, a supportive husband. I have a loving family, a family that is very involved. I have two little ones who are so healthy. And sometimes I don't feel like I'm good enough, you know? And even though I have a roof under our heads, like we are here in this earth, like I still feel like I'm not good enough. And I don't know why. And it could be because there's this comparison trap that a lot of moms get, especially if we are following accounts on social media where oftentimes these influencers, these people that are, just talking about motherhood, they're only talking about one side of it. And that leads me into thinking, crap, like, why am I complaining? Why am I, not happy? Why is it that I don't have my shit together, And all of this sort of escalated yesterday when our house has been a complete mess. And this is because we are currently going through a huge transition of like donating a bunch of things, getting rid of things. And this is, during that change of seasons, right? Now we're going into a colder weather. And so we're trying to get rid of the summer clothes, and our kids are growing out of all their clothes. And, I am also going through a transition where I don't need the maternity leggings anymore because now I can't fit into the clothes that I used to wear before I was pregnant. And so, like, there's a lot of emotions in these physical things. And I see them in front of me. I see bins in front of me, and it is so hard. It was so hard for me to just like sort through those. And I think it's because of those changes in and those transitions in our lives, but it's also just the clutter that has been in my head. And so if you see that as a symbol, like as a symbolic thing, like, oh my gosh, I have so many things out here and you can't even organize yourself, then that's kind of like a reflection of how my mind is. Like there's just a lot of things in my head. And I'll be frank with you, I have been very busy. And I think, and my husband has been telling me this, like, you are stretching yourself too thin. I am a stay-at-home mom. I take care of our little ones. And even though Alex works from home, he's obviously available. We're basically doing this together. But, they're with me. My kiddos are with me all the time. I'm also trying to build a business. I'm trying to scale a business. And even though I have all of these dreams and aspirations, the money isn't there yet. And so now I'm thinking about whether if I should go back to work so that I can support my family as well. We all know that this economy is just not going anywhere, right? Like we just have to be proactive. And many of us experience financial traumas that we don't want to repeat the cycle. And I feel like that has been a lot in me that, oh my gosh, what if I end up, you know, going how I was when, my dad was diagnosed with cancer when I was like 18 years old. And I don't want to go through those kinds of experiences, even though it's not going to be the same. Like it's still that trauma that I at least endured that I don't want to repeat the cycle. And it's also, just like the little mundane things that oftentimes we don't get to do. Like, for example, going on dates. Like, I want to go on a date with my husband, and it's so hard, because we have two little ones. And again, I don't want to give the excuse that it's because of my children. No, like, I love my children. I love to be with them. They are just, I mean, I can't even put words into this. But y'all, like, motherhood is so freaking hard. Like, I never knew how hard this was going to be. And I am also navigating, you know, how I'm dealing with my own feelings, with my own emotions. And I'm also at the same time raising two little ones to help them deal with their emotions and their feelings. And I'm sure that for those of you who are here, who are watching right now, like, and who are moms or parents in general, like, I'm sure that you understand how difficult it is. It's not just having to work on the emotional side of things, and sometimes we're still trying to uh heal from our inner child, our traumas, right? We're healing a lot, and then we're literally raising two, we're raising little ones, but it's also just like the everyday things that we got to do, like adulting. And it's so hard when you have all of these like issues and, thoughts in your head. Like, obviously, you're just gonna like burst out. And that happened to me yesterday. I have never had an anxiety attack before. And it's it's not cool. I was scared for myself, but also, doing this in front of Alex. Luckily, Diego, our preschooler, was in school, but our little one was around. And I tried my best to just like hide my face. But yeah, I don't know. I got to a breaking point where I'm like, I'm not going to, like, what is wrong with me? What can I do to better um make sure that I'm okay? And so in this kind of state of motherhood address, if you will, like, I just want to take care of myself first. Like the saying goes, like, you can't pour out of an empty cup. And I would say that, I'm very tired. I I'm stretching myself too thin. And I think what I'm going to do is to focus on myself. Because again, I share this on my platform. Like, if you've listened to my podcast, I share all of these like tips. And even though these also serve as a reminder for me, because at the end of the day, we're all human. I'm human. I know that I could be consistent, but I'm not, because we're also in survival mode. But I need to be more thoughtful about myself, and I need to prioritize on myself. So, with that being said, I'm not going to be on social media as much. I am thinking 2 to 3 times a day. Not a day, I'm sorry, 2 to 3 times a week. And that way I can be present with my family, be present with myself, and just be present with my day. Um, as far as with the podcast, I am planning to do this weekly, but I'm also not going to freak out if in case things don't work out. It's okay to miss out on a week. And for those of you who do listen, please let me know, what is it that you want to hear more of? What is it that you want to be involved with the podcast, whether if it's as a listener or as a potential guest? This is a platform for moms after all, and especially for those of you who share a similar identity as me. This is something that I am very intentional so that we can share our stories as mamas. But I also realized that I'm a mompreneur, I'm a solopreneur. And in fact, I went to a summit this Saturday, and for some reason, yes, this summit was amazing. It was very inspiring. It was so empowering to see all of these Latina mujeres like killing it, whether if it's in their businesses or in corporate America. But I did ask a question: how can one navigate being a mompreneur and a solopreneur when you are raising little ones? And, even though I did get really good answers, As far as with like asking for help, or, you have to understand that you are in a season. I do get all of that, but the thing that I was hoping for was more so, but I'm also passionate with my business, and like, how can it be sustainable when you're also raising two little ones, right? And I think that I have to just, I need to know what you're looking for in this platform. I need to know what is it that you want, because, I just don't want to show up, you know, disingenuinely, like I want to make sure that I am speaking on behalf of you, or that I get to represent you. If there's anything out of this platform that you're looking for, like, just let me know. How are you seeing Viva la Mami, when you are looking through my social media, or if you are browsing through my episodes, like, what is it that you really see, and what is it that you're looking for? What is it that you want to hear or know more about? Um, and that way it can also give me clarity, because, I feel like I am trying to, scale up, and I'm trying to see what's out there for mamas, but it's also, as a solopreneur and as a mompreneur, it's really difficult to, come up with creative ways, because I have a small amount of time to really focus on that, right? So I want to be as productive as I can, as intentional as I can, based on what you're looking for. So if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, like, please DM me, and I would appreciate it. But considering all of this, I also want to be smart about, how I am doing this entrepreneurship while raising two little ones, especially who are 3 and under. And so this is when I'm like, okay, what are some things that I'm willing to give up, and what are some things that I really want to focus on? Um, and so I'll still be around, like I said, I'll still be on social media, but not as intense as how I was. Um, and with my podcasts, again, it's going to be published. One episode's going to be published once a week. But yeah, other than that, you will still hear from me, right? You can still DM me, you can still email me. I am also going to be more present through my newsletter. That's another mode of communication that I want to be intentional of. But I also have to recognize, and I'm putting this out there for those who want to put me accountable. If I know that I am struggling, I'm just going to be unapologetic, and, you know, not do the things that are probably making me feel like I'm stretching myself too thin. I hope that you understand that, because at the end of the day, I also have to really focus on myself, and I need to work on myself. I haven't gone to therapy for over a year now. It's going to be a year since I haven't gone to therapy, and I definitely need it. I'm searching for a therapist. And that way it can be helpful for me to heal, but also to work on my regulation. And it's interesting enough, I finished a podcast interview with Jocelyn from Raiz Parenting. I think I saw her here, and I had a Instagram live with her on Friday. And so anyway, our conversation, which I will be publishing that episode in the coming weeks, but our conversation was about dysregulation as mamas, and I'm definitely experiencing that. I feel like every little thing that I go through recently, like, I am just experiencing rage. I am experiencing anxiety even. And that is because I am putting a lot on my list. And a lot of the times it's not feasible, it's not doable, it's not realistic. And again, at the end of the day, I want to be present. with my family, with my kids, with myself, but also here as well. I want you to see the real me, the true me. um, and it's unfortunate because, I see a lot of motherhood platforms out there and they're talking about how they're doing and things like that. And I'm not devaluing that, no, but for the most part, these people have help. They hire a nanny or they hire a virtual assistant, and I'm just running this solo, y'all. And with that comes, those sort of I wouldn't necessarily want to say consequences, but there is a lot that comes after that. And now I have to figure out, okay, how can I balance all of this without really burning myself out? And at the end of the day, I don't want to burn out. I don't want to feel like this is a 9 to 5 job. Like, I don't want to feel like, this is something that I have to do. Like, I want to do it, obviously. And this is my new passion, creating this community of other Latina moms, um, because there aren't a lot out there, especially when it comes to talking about how we can balance our cultura and modern parenting, how we can, sort of redefine motherhood into the version that we want for ourselves and not what others may want to do it for us or what have you. So I almost have to, you know, walk the talk, right? I have to follow my own suit in terms of what is it, how can I take care of myself, right? And so that's part of it too. So I just want to say thank you to those that have reached out and checked in on me. I still haven't yet fully responded to all DMs, but I do have a community, whether if it's here through social media or through the podcast. But I am very thankful to those that have reached out. I'm also very thankful for my family and my friends. My two very close friends from college have reached out and we've had conversations about this. And, one of the things that one of my best friends has said is that it's okay not to be okay. And I think that that is true in whatever struggles you're going through, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be motherhood. Um, it can be, whether if it's juggling a job that you don't like and you want to quit, but you can't, or if it's money issues, or if it's relationship issues, like whatever it is that you're struggling with, like it is okay not to be okay. Um, and for me, even though I did have a breakdown, even though I do have to take time for myself, again, I'm okay with saying that I'm not okay and I need help and I'm going to get it and I need to focus on myself. Um, at the end of the day, I'm raising my two little ones and, you know, I also need to prioritize on myself too while doing that as well. And that means that, I have to limit my availability for right now. This doesn't mean it's forever, but at least, I'm just sharing that to you all. But you all inspire me as well. So please feel free to reach out. Again, what is it that you want to see out of Viva la Mami? This can be on my to-do list for the future once I am in this full present mode. Um, and and yeah, let me know if you have any questions. But I appreciate you all again. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being a part of this comunidad. Um, and if you ever want to talk, I'm here for you. I am more than willing to do a cafecito chat. Because at the end of the day, we shouldn't let all of our thoughts and opinions stay inside of us. We also need to desahogarnos, right? We also need to let it out, especially as mamas. We cannot do this alone. If you need help, you got to reach out for help. If you need a support system, if you want a comunidad, whether if it's online, like here, or if it's in person, whether if it's in your community, with your family, know that you cannot do this alone. And that's something that I also need to be aware of, right? Like whenever I do need help, I need to reach out for help. And again, it's that first generation, firstborn sort of syndrome where we want to show perfectionism. We want to be perfect. We want to make sure that things are pretty much aligned because you are that model for everyone else. But again, at the end of the day, who's hurting? And it can be us, right? And I've been hurting. I wanted to prove myself to a certain extent, right? I wanted to prove myself that I was, the perfect daughter, that I was the perfect student, that I was the perfect professional worker. And now I wanted to prove myself as a perfect mom. But, it had to get to this point, unfortunately. But I think this is a break-in moment where I'm like, okay, how can I take a couple steps back and again, take care of myself and move forward with this? So, all right, amigas. Well, thank you all so much for joining me. For those of you who just joined, know that I will be having this live posted on my Instagram account. But like I said, feel free to reach out to me. I'll make sure to respond to you. And again, whatever that you're looking for out of this comunidad, this community, please let me know. This can serve as like validation, as a way for me to be empowered to continue on with this platform. No, I'm not saying I'm leaving or anything. No, a lot of things are still, in the works for a lot of exciting things that are happening. But also I need to realize that I should take a couple steps back to take care of myself first. And that way I can be present with y'all. So again, feel free to reach out via DMs and I'll be sharing this. And feel free to ask questions also. And know if you need community, if you just want to chat, if you want to do a one-on-one in whatever capacity, whether if it's in person, if you're from the Chicago area, or we can also do this on, virtually as well. But okay, pues amigas, thank you so much. And I'll see you later. Adios. Mujer, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to listen to the Viva la Mami podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, will you do me a favor and follow the podcast and leave a rating and review? Hitting that follow button and reviewing my show will allow other mommies like you find this podcast. Your review will also tell me if you enjoy the show, so I would truly appreciate your thoughts. Don't forget, please share this podcast con tus amigas. Also, make sure to follow me at Viva la Mami on Instagram or visit vivalamami.com. Please note the information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as professional advice. Okay, mujer, thank you for joining y nos vemos in the next episode.